This is a quick video to talk about replacing blue skies in images. This image I've chosen to demonstrate how to replace a sky in Photoshop. I've chosen this image because the blue sky, it needs a blue sky. Also, this image is a panorama. It was stitched from two images side by side, and as a consequence, the image is a panorama. It's quite long. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a blue sky in here, and we're also going to extend the image up here with that blue sky to make it more square. Sometimes that's required. Another reason why I've chosen this image is because the forest over here goes right to the top, so simply putting a blue sky across the top isn't going to work with this image. Something needs to be done over here when the blue sky goes in. So the first thing we need to do, I've already converted it, would be, if this said background, would be to double click on it and turn it into a layer. Once this is a layer, it will then be we'll then go and find the blue sky that we want to use. So on pCloud Drive, Scenic Gems, Resources, Photoshop Elements, Skies. There are two blue sky images in here. So I'm going to choose this bottom one. And I'm going to bring that in to the existing canvas. Now I've got a profile mismatch here. It's saying that the destination is Adobe RGB, source is sRGB, so that's fine. It won't shift too much. We can always color correct it if there is a slight shift. And we're going to create a smart object from that image. And now that that's done, just so that we don't lose the resolution, we'll bring it down to a more workable size and make it just bigger than the canvas. So about there, move it over a little bit. So that's covering the canvas now. And I'll bring it up. Oops. And you can see that it's a pretty good match, this image. So it should blend quite well. Now what I want to do is bring it just below the skyline. So about there. A bit more. A little bit more. Okay, there. So that's just below the skyline now. The next thing to do is to grab the layer and put it underneath. And now we want to extend the canvas area of this frame, the canvas area. So how do we do that? We're going to go to canvas size. I'll just put it in pixels so I know what I'm working with. And I'm introducing space above the image at, let's say, 3,500 pixels. And there we go. So I've extended now the canvas, and we can see that we've got the image sitting underneath in the right spot. So the next thing to do is to take away the part of this image that we don't want, the old sky. So the best way that I know to do that is to use the quick selection tool, drag across, and instantly it has done a good job and found the sky. From there, we want to select Command or Control if you're on Windows, Shift I for the inverse. And I don't want this area up here, so I will use the minus and take away that. And now I have the part of the image that I want. So In days gone by, it used to be a Photoshop feature called Refine Edge. In newer versions of Photoshop, we now have Select and Mask, and it's brilliant. So let's go ahead and use that. It's even easier than what it used to be. So now that I've selected that, and with the transparency all the way up, you might find that when you first open it, it's down here. When you pull the transparency all the way up, we can see that it's done a beautiful job, and that's looking brilliant. And we have the sky in there, and it looks pleasing to the eye. Over here, we need to work on this area now. So the way to do that is to simply, I'm going to press Option to get the minus for this, so I can take some image away. And I'll just go across it there like that. And I'll make the brush a bit smaller. And Adobe have done a brilliant job of making this work so well that it really does a great job. I'll just keep clicking away until it looks visually pleasing and looks real. So about there, no one would be the wiser. It looks like the tops of trees now. So the only thing left to do, and you would probably do it before I did this, would be to take away this stick here. You can do it afterwards. The trunk there, well, I can hardly see it now, but they would be things to do. But that's outside of this tutorial. That would just be with the clone tool, etc. This is about the sky. So very quickly, and it's a big time saver, the new Select and Mask feature of Photoshop has done a brilliant job of feathering this and masking it so that we can get that sky in there. And then the only thing left to do, I don't really touch any of these settings, but you're welcome to, is to come down to Output, and we want to output that to a layer mask. Click OK, and there it is. There's my layer mask, and that's done. The only thing really left to say is that sometimes if this image here and this sky sort of clash, they don't look like they are together, you would obviously try and color correct the sky to make it blend in with the scenery. Another trick to do is to paint the mask and bring in some of the old horizons. So just like this, that may be an option. In this case, it's not an option. It blended fine, but sometimes bringing in some of the old sky, you may even, I'll just undo that, use a gradient. So I'll just select, so I've got white to black. So I want, I think I want white. Yeah, okay, so white to transparent. And if I just come up and flick in some gradient, you could do it that way as well, so it's a nice feather. But as I said, it's not needed in this image. Well, maybe a tiny bit, just to lighten that area so that it looks more natural. Yeah, but yeah, that probably looks a little bit more natural. So you could see potentially how feathering on the horizon can make it look even more real. Obviously this area would need to be fixed up. So that's essentially adding blue skies to images.